Be so kind.
Stand.
To your people, but Father, we first must serve you.
Now we come to a point looking for any professional or consultant reports. Do we have any of our professionals or consultants with us this evening? I'll go with the no. Mayor, it is now time. You have the floor.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to say good evening to everyone. I'm glad that you are out here tonight, and hopefully we will be able to deliberate in a very kind manner, respectful to one another, to be able to share information with you that is very helpful as we try our very best to be able to move the city forward. About 2 months ago, we had an opportunity as a council to be able to allocate $100,000 for the schools. And Irondale Community School, the kids there decided to create a card that they wanted to send to the mayor and the council. So I wanted to read some of the comments that they put in this card. As you can see, they had a lot of comments that they actually put in here. And you can tell that it was actually written by the students. So I don't think that the adults actually put in this information in there. But 3 of the comments that I want to read to you that they sent to the mayor and the council, they said, "Thank you for all the things you do, and with all the money you gave us, we were able to buy more technology." The second comment was, "Thank you for trying to make our school a better place." And the last one was, "Thank you so much, and you all rock." By Alex. "Thank you for the money." So I just thought that that was very cute that, you know, the kids thought enough of the mayor and the council to be able to thank us for what we had provided for them. So I just wanted to be able to share this with you all. I guess we'll hang it out on the wall somewhere, and also I'll give it to the council and allow them to be able to look at it as well. I'll go take my seat and finish my report. Okay, I promise not to take a long time, especially since we have a very heavy agenda tonight. But the first thing that I wanted to cover is on yesterday, we did have a special council meeting where we took the time out to be able to vote on an incentive agreement for the proposed grocery store. And as I stated a few minutes ago, it's still proposed. Although we did what we were supposed to do on yesterday, The developer still has not closed on the land that they needed to finish on today. So I'm going to stick to what I told you all earlier. We still have about 15 days before we make this announcement. And it'll be 15 days today, and it'll be 15 days tomorrow. It'll be 15 days until they finally said that the ink has dried on the contract. So I'm not going to make an announcement, and there's really no official announcement to make because they have not closed on the land. However, stay tuned, and I truly believe that this month that you will hear an announcement about the grocery store that's coming to our wonderful city. But as we sit here tonight at 6:07, there's no deal because they haven't closed on the land. My second announcement is on Sunday at 6 o'clock, we will have the Message with the Mayor Facebook Live. This one is very special to me because 1 year ago, I started to do the Facebook Live event with my kids. I really didn't want to do it. They were like, "Dad, you really need to get on Facebook and let us interview." I'm like, "No, I don't want to get on Facebook and do any interviews." But because they were trying to be helpful during the campaign, I decided to give in and to allow them to be able to interview me. And it caught on, and people enjoyed it. And now we do it every month to give everyone an update on what's going on in the city. So we thought that it would be ceremonial to have them to be able to do it. Since they started the first one in July in 2020, we will culminate 1 year, July 11th, and they will have an opportunity to be able to interview their dad. I told them, don't be hard on me, to be able to ask me some easy questions so that we will be able to make it through on this Sunday. But that Sunday is very special to me, and I'm asking everybody that you will tune in to be able to hear me being interviewed by my kids, Jade and Christian, who are sitting on the front row tonight. Also on Thursday, July the 22nd, we're going to have the monthly mayor's prayer meeting at Brookview Wesleyan Church, located at 3699 Belmont Road, Irondale, Alabama, 35210. That is open to the public, so anybody who would like to come pray with the pastors as well as the rest of the community at 9 o'clock at Brookview Wesleyan Church on Thursday, July the 22nd, we would love to appreciate you being there. A city that prays together stays together. The next thing that we're going to do on Friday, July the 23rd, we're going to do Screen Scene at the Park. So we're going to have a movie night in the park. The movie that's going to be shown is Toy Story 4. Some people said that they haven't seen the first three, so I'd encourage you to go out and watch the first three. So when you come to the movie on the 22nd, is that you, Ms. Velma, back there grinning at me in the back there? So I'm telling on you, but go and view the first three so that you can enjoy the fourth one. And then on Saturday, we're going to follow that up with Fun Day at the Tracks, where we're just inviting the community to come out, get a chance to be able to meet your counselors and your mayors. If you know how to dance, we're looking for people that can do the country line dance, the electric slide, the Macarena, and whatever else well, let me rephrase it, not whatever else you want to do. But we just want you to be able to come out and to be able to have a good time and to be able to get to know your neighbors. One of the things that I ran on for office was building community, and I truly believe that you build community when you hang with community. So we want everybody to come out. We're going to have 7 or 8 food trucks. The first 50 people that get here for each food truck, you will get a free ticket. So make sure that you get here on time so that you can enjoy the event. And it will start at 5 and it will end at 8 o'clock. The movie night in the park will actually start as soon as it becomes dark enough to be able to show the movie, but we're projecting that will be around about 8:15. And also we're going to do I call it the Bobby Joe Wilson backpack giveaway, because Bobby Joe Wilson, every year that he was here, he loved to give backpacks to the kids. And we decided that well, I decided as the mayor that I would like to keep that going and that I would like to name that after him, since he was the individual that was really the inspiration behind me wanting to continue to be able to do that. So we're looking to give hopefully about 500 backpacks away to kids that only live in Irondale. So we're only doing this for Irondale kids that go to the 4 schools plus JCIB here in the city. So we're really looking forward to doing that on January the 31st. We will begin at 11 o'clock and we will continue to do it until the backpacks run out. And then the final thing that I have for you tonight is we're going to create what is called the Citizen Engagement Institute. I really want all of our citizens to be well informed. I want you to really to understand how government works. And I don't want Facebook to end up being the tool that teaches you how we function here in the city. So we're going to have the first Citizen Engagement Institute. We only have 25 slots. We've already had 15 people to register. So that means that you only have 10 spots left. You will get an opportunity to be introduced to the department heads. We'll talk about public safety, so you'll understand about police and fire. We'll also talk about the Senior Activity Center as well as the library. We'll talk about our water department, tell you exactly how the utilities and all of that play out. We will have a fan favorite, which is Frank Pennington in Public Works. Everybody loves to talk about Public Works, and I'm quite sure he would probably have the most attended session because everybody wants to know about recycling, trash, garbage, and all those different things. So we'll do a session on Public Works, and then I'll wrap it up on the last week. We'll have a talk on city finances to be able to help you to understand how the city functions financially. One of the things that I'm going to make sure that I cover, because I hear it all the time, taxpayers' dollars. Please be here for that session, because I'm going to define for you what really is taxpayers' dollars. And you'll be surprised, because every dollar that comes in the city is not generated by a taxpayer. Probably only 5 to 10% of the funds that we receive is generated by the people that actually live in the city of Irondale. So we'll make sure that we cover that, but as I stated, we have 25 spots, 15 have already been filled. My goal at the end of this journey is to make sure that Irondale is one of the most educated municipalities when it comes to know how to be able to run a municipality. Thank you, Council President, for giving me this opportunity. I know that it may have been a little bit lengthy, but hopefully this was some information that will be helpful to our citizens.
I'm sure it was, and thank you for your report, sir. Now we come looking for any department head reports. I know we've got a few department heads in our midst tonight. Do any of y'all have a report? All right, Chief McDaniel.
I just have more of an update to let you guys know that tomorrow the State Department of Public Health will be coming out to inspect the new transport unit, and hopefully we'll get signed off on that. Our goal is Monday. It's Monday at shift change at 7 a.m. to start transporting and running calls in the transport unit. So excited about that. And I would like to report that I think Chief Wiggins knows how to do the electric slide.
Outstanding. We look forward to that. All right. Now we're looking for our reports from our council members. Councilman London, if you would please start us.
Thank you, sir, Mr. President. In lieu of the long agenda we have, I just want to say good evening, and also I want to wish our mayor happy birthday. Happy birthday to our mayor today. He's really years old, and I just want to say happy birthday to you today. But that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Cuellar.
Well, hey, Council President
Yes,
Spivey,
sir.
can I say one thing?
Absolutely.
Well, John London's birthday was on July the 4th, and he is 57.
Oh.
My birthday is actually July the 8th, and I will be 57 on tomorrow.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Well, happy birthday to both of you guys. Councilwoman Cuellar.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. I'll make my announcement short. As the mayor stated, the developer is still not closed on the land as of today. But I did do one thing yesterday. I asked him, say everything goes well, when can we start moving dirt? And he said that you can expect them to start moving dirt in October. And then the 2022 year will be building the building structures. So I just wanted to report that.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Box?
Yes, good evening, everybody, and ditto on these two guys' sentiments and happy birthdays and all that wonderful stuff. So trying to move everything forward quickly. Visited a couple of the neighborhoods this weekend, Hampton Place and Cahaba Landing, looking at street lights, various things like that, and then we're trying to move forward. I'm figuring out that process, so some of those will be coming before the council here hopefully in the next couple of weeks. On an unpleasant side, though, naturally this is grass growing season, and a lot of our good neighbors are not keeping their yards as we would like. I don't mind fielding phone calls at all. I will shuffle those calls to our city inspector and municipal officer. And so if you get a sticker, sorry. If you need some help cutting it, there are several places you can contact. Church of the Highlands, I'm sure we have some landscape contractors here, different things like that. Or if you can't find anybody else at all, you're indigent and have issues, contact me. I'll find you somebody that can help. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. As far as my report goes, want to keep it simple. I was able to get the recycling invoice from Public Works. Thank you, Frank, for that, as always. And it showed a contamination rate of 33%, which is, we're flirting with that 30% line pretty consistently. So I will reach out to the mayor and Frank and see if there's any best practices or if there's anything that's changed with the facility, anything that we can be doing better to try to drop those numbers, because the larger the percent, the more expensive the cost is, as that cost to take things from the recycling center to the dump increases it exponentially as if we were just as opposed to if we just took it to the dump ourselves. So we want to keep that number low and respect the program. That being said, I want to go ahead and unfortunately begrudgingly announce that we have a vacancy on our council. If anyone was here for our last meeting, we know that Bobby Joe made his official exit at the end of last month, so we officially have a vacancy. So I'm just going to go ahead and call that basically we want to fill that position as soon as possible. And we obviously want to have his district represented with a council person. So end of business day, July 15th, that is Thursday when City Hall closes, end of business day, interest needs to be expressed. Mayor, should that interest be expressed to Lou, the city clerk?
Yes.
Okay, so July 15th, end of day, city clerk's office, express your interest. I'm not going to set any formality as far as how you express your interest, like a resume or anything like that. But my goal is to have the interested parties' information in our packet that we typically get sent out to us on Thursday or Friday with all of our material. I just want to go ahead and have that information in there, with the goal being to vote on that person, to appoint that person at our next meeting. So July 15th, 5 o'clock, end of day, express your interest. That concludes my report. All right, so do we have any reports of any boards or non-council committees with us tonight? Okay, so now we find ourselves, we're looking for deliberation on the agenda items. One thing I want to try a new process tonight is we've been kind of playing around with how we add things on the consent. We've kind of done it one way, and then we've shifted and been doing it another way, which is Councilwoman Cuellar and Councilman Box, which you've seen. But I want to go ahead and kind of divide the agenda up. So as we go through deliberation and as we go through the items that we're going to go on consent, all the items that are not on consent, we're going to cover under an agenda, but the items that are on consent, we're going to create a consent agenda. So that when it comes time to approve the agenda, we're going to approve the agenda, and then we're also going to turn around and in a second motion, approve the consent agenda. So that just knocks it out and handles things the best way possible, and there's no gray area. Fair enough? That being said, we'll go ahead and deliberate. Ordinance 2021-12 to modify Chapter 6, Fire Prevention and Protection of the Irondale Municipal Code. And that is Chief McDaniel's item. But what I understand about that is that's basically building in the language for the medical transport that's going online here soon. Are there any questions, Councilman London, on that?
No question.
Councilwoman Quayle?
No questions?
Councilman Box?
No, I'm good, thank you.
I'm good as well, thank you, sir. All right. Resolution 2021 R63 authorizes the renewal of a moratorium on many warehouses or self-storage businesses within the city limits of the city of Irondale. So this is something that we put out there some time ago. It is now sunsetted, so this is an opportunity to bring it back for 9 months. And then we'll revisit it again. Or the goal was to readdress some planning, some zoning rules, but that never got done. So maybe within these 9 months, we can take a look at zoning and then put something permanently in place inside of our zoning. Any questions on that, Councilman London?
No question.
Councilwoman Quayle?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
No questions now.
Right on. Resolution 2021 R64 authorizes Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. to execute documents required by the Alabama Department of Transportation for the construction of the parking area for the canoe launch. So the way I understand this is Mayor, do you want to go ahead and just break this down as far as who has it and what they're doing?
Yes, the Freshwater Land Trust is actually doing the work, but we are actually preparing the application and sending it in to ALDOT for the work to begin.
Thank you, sir. And then as far as the lease goes, that's basically the maintenance that Public Works will be taking care of as far as there's no monetary payment per se, just in-kind services essentially. Councilman London, any questions on that?
Well, I did have one question.
Yes, sir.
Section 3, Section 8, the landlord and the tenant flopped. I think it flopped.
64.
Because it was talking about the liability, the insurance part of it. And I can't pull it up, my computer's acting up here.
What section was that, sir?
Section 3, what is talking about the landlord, the liability, and the tenant liability. Oh, I'm sorry, here it is. Section 3.
I didn't say anything.
So we'll both do the same thing, okay. All right, question answered.
Outstanding.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Quayle?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
I'm good.
Get myself recentered here. All right. Resolution 2021 R65 approves the 2020 road pavement plan. Councilman London, any questions on that?
No question.
Councilwoman Quayle?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
I'm good.
All right, myself is good as well. Resolution 2021 R66 approves public events for July the 21st. Councilman London, any questions there?
No question.
Councilwoman Quayle?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
I'm good as well.
All right. One thing I've neglected to do is while we're going through these, obviously the ordinance we can't put on consent, but the renewal of the moratorium, 63, can that go on consent?
Yes.
Yes.
Councilman London, you good?
Yes, I'm good.
Okay, I'm good as well. So 63 will be on consent. Regarding the Alabama Department of Transportation for the canoe launch, can that be on consent?
Yes.
All right. Councilman Box, you're in agreement there?
Yes.
Okay. Road pavement plan, road pavement plan, can that be on consent?
Yes.
Councilman Lennon, you're good with that?
I'm good with it.
Okay. Public events, I think we were all we didn't have any questions. Can that be on consent?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Excuse me, Council President?
Yes, sir.
Can you mention the addition that you and I talked about earlier for that resolution?
For the various.
Public events that's taking place in the month of July, we also talked about adding the backpack giveaway
thank
to
you.
that.
Yes, I
Since it's for
Yep.
kids that live in Irondale.
Yeah, I wrote that on the item itself and not my agenda. Thank you very much. So talking about R66 before we move on, the language that's in there covers The following events during the month of July 2021: Screen Scene at the Park at Beacon Park on Friday, July 23rd, and Fun Day at the Tracks on Saturday, July 24th. And then my item had an and, so the item to be added as an and would be Bobby Joe Wilson backpack giveaway on July 31st. Are we comfortable with that language being added?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can we still move forward with that on consent?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Question.
Yes, sir?
Would dogs be allowed at this event?
Mayor, it's a public space. Would dogs be allowed as long as they're leashed?
Oh, yes, as long as they're following the leash law.
Okay,
Okay. 'Cause I'm gonna get that question, I know.
fair enough. Thank you. All right, and then Resolution R67 authorizes the execution of a funding agreement with Ruffner Mountain Nature Coalition, Inc. Any questions on that, Councilman London?
No.
Councilwoman Creer?
No questions?
Councilman Box?
No questions.
Myself, no questions as well. Did we put that on consent?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Item number 7, Resolution 2021 R68 authorizes the execution of a service agreement with the Prescott House. Councilman London, any questions?
No question.
Councilwoman Quayer?
No questions?
Councilman Box?
No questions.
Myself, no questions either. Would we be willing to put that on consent?
Yes.
Resolution 2021 R69 authorizes the execution of a service agreement with the Friends of the Iron Bell Library. Councilman London, any questions there?
No question.
Councilwoman Quayer?
No questions?
Councilman Box?
No questions.
Myself, I'm good. Would we be willing to put that on consent?
Yes.
All right. Next item, item number 9, Resolution 2021 R70 authorizes the execution of a service agreement with the Irondale Arts Council. Councilman London, any questions?
No question.
Councilwoman Quayer?
No questions?
Councilman Box?
No questions.
Myself, no questions. Would be willing to put that on consent?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Resolution 2021 R71 authorizes the execution of a service agreement with Clastran. Councilman London, any questions?
None.
Councilwoman Quayer?
Yeah, I just had one question yesterday, and I hadn't gotten an answer yet. How many Irondale residents use this service?
I reached out to them when you sent me the email, wanting to know that number. I didn't get a response about the actual number for this particular agreement, but the funding amount is the same amount that they requested in 2019, and it was between 350 to 400 trips at that time.
Any follow-up question, Councilwoman Quayer?
No, that's good enough.
Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
And then Councilman Box, any questions on
no
that?
questions.
All right. Would that be an item we'd be willing to put on consent?
Yes.
Yes? Councilman Box and Councilman London?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Item number 11, Resolution 2021 R72 declares that certain property is not needed for public or municipal purposes and directs the disposal thereof. Councilman London, any questions there?
No question.
Councilwoman Quayer?
No questions?
Councilman Box?
No questions.
And myself, no questions. Willing to put this one on consent?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Resolve Resolution 2021 R73 rejects the bid received for the Ruffner Park Revitalization Phase 1. Councilman London, any questions?
No question.
Councilwoman Quayer, any questions?
Yeah, I had a couple of questions, and it had to do with the resolution, which had to do with the wording reevaluated. I had asked what was meant by reevaluated. Did we mean the scaling down of Phase 1? And if so, when would we be reevaluating this project?
It does deal with revisiting the project because initially we only allocated $675,000 to be able to do it.
Okay.
The project came in, or we only received one bid for $1.335 million. So it's almost twice the
Right.
amount that we
Yeah.
initially set aside. So we would like to reevaluate over the next 90 days and to be able to come back to the citizens with a park meeting or a work session to have a discussion, to talk about how we can scale the project down to make it fit in the amount of money that was allocated for the project, or to be able to discuss waiting a longer period to put it out to bid again because construction expenses are very high and contractors have a lot of work right now. So that's why we feel that the value is more, or they want us to pay more than what we should be paying. However, if we could wait until the demand and supply kind of flips around, we may be able to do the same thing, but to be able to do it at a more reasonable price. But initially, reevaluate means we would like to bring everybody back in and see how we can scale the project down to make it fit with the amount of funds that we have allocated for the project.
Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Box?
The only question I would have, Mayor, is in scaling down or revisiting, is it possible that we discuss some other usage close by that could be considered part of that project that could start a little quicker?
Yes, I don't think Council President Spivey would mind me sharing the conversation that
I'll do.
he and I had for the meeting. But we discussed looking at Ellert Park and turning Ellert Park into the dog park because we already have about $42,000 from Spire to be able to do renovations at Ruffner Park. And I suggested to Council President Spivey that if he would create a resolution to redirect that money to Ellert so that the city can proceed quickly with turning that into a dog park. He thought that that recommendation or suggestion would be good for us to move forward with, so we're not slowing down all phases of the project, because we have that available park there. And I didn't realize that we received a grant for ADECA for that park, because there's some maintenance that we have to do. I think Frank is in the back. Is that correct, Frank? ADECA came out and inspected the park and gave us a list of things that we need to do. So there's no need for us to go through repairing the park and doing the things that they requested under the grant, but then we allow the park to sit over there dormant.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yep.
That was exactly what I was going to suggest.
Do you have a follow-up
Yeah,
question,
the
Councilman?
only follow-up comment I wanted to make is I think it'd be a good idea to discuss with the dog park people that really did a lot over at Ruffner Park. And I know that when they looked at Ellard Park at one point in time, there were a lot of fire ants and it wasn't a safe environment for the dogs. So I think bringing them into the conversation may be a good idea.
Oh, absolutely, and I agree with Mayor there and Councilman London. I think we could do a Park and Rec meeting sometime here in the near future and pound those out. So I would look forward to that conversation. And when me and Mayor were talking about that, I was like, has anybody talked to Ann about this yet? So I think that, so we definitely need to have those conversations.
Great.
By all
Thank you.
means. Absolutely. That being said, around that resolution, item number 12, would that be something we'd be willing to put on consent?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Resolution 2021-R74 accepts the bid received for the City of Irondale material for water main upgrades for pavement plan. Councilman London, any questions on that?
No question.
Councilwoman Quayle?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
No questions.
Would we be willing to put that on consent?
Yes.
Yes.
And then the last item, Resolution 2021-R75 appoints 2 members to the Irondale Library Board. And I believe we have several of them with us. Thank you all, ladies. Councilman London, any questions?
No question.
Councilwoman Quayle?
I do have one question.
Oh, yes, sir.
I know Jackie, but Miss Madeline, is she here? That's okay. All right, just want to put my name with the face.
Councilwoman Quayle?
I actually have a comment. I have the memo from Ms. Wilson, and I want to thank you for that memo, Ms. Wilson, and I want to thank the board, the library board, for making these recommendations. That's something that I always look at, is what the board has to say. And so I really appreciate having this information because it makes me make a very easy decision. So thank you very much for that.
Councilman Box?
No questions.
And myself, no questions either. Would we be willing to put that item on consent?
Yes.
So the way I have it here, we'll move into public comments in just one moment. So the way I have it here, we have one item that will be on our agenda, and then we have items number 2 through 14 that would be on our consent agenda. So what I'll do here is I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda, And then I'll ask for a separate motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a
So-
motion that we approve the agenda with item 1 being the only item on the agenda.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And please, sir, if you'd be so kind. The consent agenda.
I make a motion that items numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 be put on our consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, thank you. All right, that being said, at this time, we would accept public comments on agenda items only and consent agenda items for that matter. So any comments on agenda or consent agenda items?
I forgot to get something to sign in. I haven't done that.
Unacceptable, Sue, you know the process.
My question is brief. They made no comment on the Prescott House. What are we doing with the Prescott House?
Mayor, please.
Yes, the Prescott House is responsible for when the police department have a call and there may be a child that's in an abusive situation. They actually come out, interview the child, make sure that the child is, kind of walk through in helping the police department to discover exactly what's going on in that situation.
I think I really hoped maybe they were going to put a branch out this way or something.
Oh, okay.
That was what I would like for them to do. Okay, thank you. That's what I needed.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other comments on agenda or consent agenda items? Yes, ma'am, Ms. Pike, if you'd like to approach. You have her information.
Thank you. I'm Donna Pike, and I live at 440 East Ventura Drive. And I just have a question about the land that's going to be disposed of, number 11.
Number 11 is actually equipment, with police and fire equipment.
Thanks. I thought, what land? Thank you so much.
No, you're fine. Any other questions on consent items or agenda items? Sorry, I'm still getting used to saying that. All right, with no further questions, Councilman Box, it looks like you're ready to go. Could you take us through our ordinance, sir?
Okay. I make a motion that ordinance number 2021-12 to modify Chapter 6 of the Fire Protection, or Prevention and Protection of the Irondale Municipal Code be read.
We have a
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes, sir.
I make a motion that we suspend all rules that would prevent the immediate consideration of ordinance number 2021-12.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call. Councilman London?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
And myself, yes. And finally, sir?
I make a motion that ordinance number 2021-12 be approved and adopted.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion is adopted. Oliver. Sure, absolutely. Just being asked for a roll call vote on the consent. I know we all responded in the positive with no nays, but just to make it official, Councilman London, are you in favor of the consent agenda?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
And myself, yes. All right. That being said, all of our other items are on consent tonight, so we will not be voting on those. Now we find ourselves open to any public comments to the council on non-agenda items.
Nice to see you all again.
You as
Ann
well.
Malfiatis, 1004 Bramble Lane. I'm talking tonight about the blasting at the townhomes that is going on Oleeds Road right now. It is affecting my neighborhood, my house. The last administration said that Mr. Hightower was here, I asked him about the blasting. He said people would come out, take pictures of our homes, make sure that it was structurally sound and whatnot. That never happened. Now I've sent everyone here pictures of the cracks in my ceiling. I have no idea, is it from the blasting? Maybe there was a tiny crack before blasting, but it's spreading. So I want to know, can someone come out to let me know, my family know, for my family's safety? Is this from the blasting? Is it a totally different problem? But it's a big concern. And also I wanted to get a report of the blasting, but I had to submit something, so I would have it tonight to see, what the levels were. And it would be nice to know when the blasting's occurring, so then we could, everyone in my neighborhood, check our property again, make sure nothing has been affected. Because I've had a tree fall, take out my fence, I've had a piece come off my washing machine, flood and the ceilings, all in the same time frame of the blasting. So if I could get a little help from someone to at least evaluate my ceiling and let me know, could this possibly be from the blasting, that would be greatly appreciated.
And also, a follow-up question for me. What time are you saying this work is occurring?
Well, that's right, the noise ordinance. And I do have a video. They do start, I'm not talking about the sound of trucks. The loud drilling starts as early as 6:15 in the morning.
Okay. Mayor, what would the appropriate channel be for this young lady?
Ms. Ann, have you discussed this with Brad?
I did send him
Brad Dawson?
pictures, and I have told him about the cracks in the ceiling. I sent him pictures today. I have talked to him a couple of times now on the phone.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
He's the one that let me know how I could get the report from City Hall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I do know up until this point that all of the blasting that has taken place has been within the allowable limits that was given to them to be able to do it up under the permit.
Right.
Every time they get ready to blast, they do contact Brad to let him know in advance
Right.
when they're going to get ready to do it, because he has to be on site once they do the blasting. But we'll try our best to be able to notify you and let you know what's going on.
Yeah,
It may not
they're
be,
pretty, when they happened, we all went, whoa. What
Okay.
the heck was that? And my pictures tilt in the house, so it's shaking. And my house is built well.
okay.
It is shaking.
Well, we
And then all
will,
the neighbors, did you feel that? Oh my gosh, that was worse than the last one.
yes,
So-
we'll, if you would stay in constant contact with him, and I'll get with him in the
I
morning
will.
to see what exactly we could do, as well as having a discussion with April. I'll call you tomorrow and be able to give
Okay.
you an answer.
Okay, appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
All right, one question I do have is, who can she talk with in regard to the ceiling, the cracks in her ceiling, things of that sort?
That would be Brad, is that correct?
I'm gonna defer to April.
Okay.
Yeah,
Those would generally be, covered by the blasting contractor's insurance that they do have if there is any damage. But I would defer to Brad on that as to the city's exact, process for that.
great, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other comments on non-agenda items? Yes, ma'am.
Francesca Roscoe, 5018 Janet Lane. The last city council meeting that I was here, and I missed the last two, I was asking about the possibility of speed breakers put along Janet Lane when all of this construction starts on Grants Mill, and even more traffic will be routed through my neighborhood. And I have, and the dumping. I have a piece of metal directly across the street from my house that is about 5 or 6 feet long and about 4 or 5 inches wide. I don't know if it was dumped, thrown, or whatever, but it's been sitting there for over a week. I did not see who put it there or how it got there, but dumping is a major problem along Janet Lane. And the other thing is, I decided to do my own traffic study. On Monday, June the 21st, I sat in my garage, and from 3:40 p.m. to 4:46 p.m., there were 32 cars to come down Janet Lane, and also 2 FedEx trucks. That same day, from 4:50 p.m. to 5:58 p.m., there were 44 vehicles to come down Janet Lane and 1 UPS truck. And that was just in a 2-hour period of time, Monday, June 21st. So again, I'm asking for the city to look into speed breakers, and a couple of occasions, I did see police presence that I had asked for, so thank you for that. Have not seen them lately, but I did notice increased police presence in and around Abigail and Janet Lane.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other non-agenda questions at this time? That being said, since there's no more questions, I would accept a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second? Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Everybody, thank you all
Miss
for
Ann,
coming out tonight.
Miss Ann, don't leave.